Hi everyone, it's Formula 1 News and welcome to the start of a new series in this channel, where we will talk about the worst F1 teams in history. In this video, we are going to talk about Live Racing Engine, an Italian Formula 1 team that participated in 14 Grand Prix, but they didn't pre-qualify in none of them. Lamberto Leone, a former Formula 1 driver in the late 70s, had created a Formula 3000 team, F1'S Racing. The team had the intention of making it to Formula 1. With this aim in mind, it hired a chassis, Riccardo Di Villa, who made the chassis model the first F1'89 to use for his team. But soon he left the team to join the Équipe Ligier and left the chassis half-finished. With an unfinished chassis sketch, Leone turned to a design studio in Milan, where engineers who had gone through Scuderia Ferrari and Thug Speed worked. In spite of all the effort that the Milanese studio made, they built the car as best they could, but the lack of money would soon reveal different structural problems. By the time the first car was ready, the serious structural problems, the poor quality of the casting with which they made the gearbox, the suspensions, and even defects in the wheel seam were noticed. Despite that they hired Gabriele Tarquini, who had experience in Colony in 1988, and Jude as a motorist, they signed up for the 1989 Formula 1 season, but they couldn't pass the crash test, and couldn't compete in that year. In 1989, Ernesto Vita, a Modena businessman who spent money on speed, bought the first chassis and the team renamed Live. They made a contract with Goodyear and wrote a workshop to develop the car's engine. Franco Roccini, mechanical engineer of the team, placed a 12-cylinder engine, not V-shaped, but in the form of W, 3 rows of 4 cylinders. Rocci was a Ferrari engineer from the 60s to the 80s, where he designed the 3.0 V8 engines of the Ferrari 308, GTV, and GTS. He also carried out experiments like W3 engine to develop a W18 engine for Formula 1, but it was cancelled due to the complex development. He continued preparing engines for the Scuderia until his farewell in 1980. He later became a private engine designer to create the W12 engine. In theory, the F35 W12 engine was as compact as a V8 but as powerful as a Ferrari V12. Vita bought the engine rights to Rocky to sell the revolutionary engine without success, and decided to use it for his team. They had to make modifications to the car by adding 2 air intakes to the height of the shoulders of the driver. That was completely exposed. The crash test wasn't a problem and the team registered the model L190 for the 1990 season of Formula 1. The team hired Gary Brabham, son of Jack Brabham, in an attempt to attract public and sponsors. The car was very slow. First, the engine had 500 horsepower when most engines exceed 700. The L190 chassis was the heaviest on the grid. Low-budget suspensions, tow handling, poor engine reliability, few functions. They had less than 10 buttons counting cockpit and steering wheel. They had no radio, ending with the serious problems that had the wind tunnel. As a result, the Formula 3 cars of that year were as fast as the Live, and the Formula 3000 were faster than this car. Jim Clark's pole position in the Great Britain Grand Prix in 1967 exceeded the time Bruno Giacomelli did in 1990. Even a 1969 or 1970 Formula 1 car was faster than Live. In their first Grand Prix, the team was presented with a single car, a single engine, and few spare parts. The L190 didn't enter the starting grid due to not getting the maximum time stipulated by the FIA. They were 34 seconds slower than the penultimate. In the second Grand Prix, the car didn't pre-qualify either because it only advanced 400 meters before the engine was damaged because the mechanics didn't put oil to it, which caused the resignation of Gary Brabham to the team. He retired because the car didn't get results and his manager warned him that it was impossible for life to take a turn in the circuit without something breaking. Without a driver, Vita decided to hire Bruno Giacomelli, who had not contested a Grand Prix since 1983. In his debut, the car failed to enter the starting grid of the San Marino Grand Prix again, and Giacomelli himself admitted his fear of being hit for a faster car. Advancing the season without improvement, the Life didn't pre-qualify in any of the following until, already tired of its engine, Vita decided to resort to the Jude V8 engines after the Italian Grand Prix. But the results were not as expected, as in the Grand Prix of Portugal, the car didn't go out of the pits because the engine was so big for the car, and the next, the Grand Prix of Spain, failed to qualify. Due to this, Vita decided not to dispute the Grand Prix of Japan and Australia. In summary, the Team Life only competes in the 1990 Formula 1 season. They started 14 races, and they finished their Formula 1 history with 0 victories, 0 pole positions, 0 podiums, and obviously 0 points. The last thing we know about this team is that the Life L190 appeared in the Goodwood Speed Festival in 2009. The only Life L190 restored and with its W12 engine back in place. It is currently owned by a tanning company in Emilia, Italy. And this is the story of Life racing engines in Formula 1. The story of a failure that shows that it is not easy to create an F1 team. I hope you like this new series in the channel. What do you think about this F1 team? Have you heard something about this team before? In this case, comment your thoughts in the comments. Also, give me a like if you like the video and subscribe if you are not. See you in the next video.